Let's be honest, you don't lose duels because your aim sucks. You lose because something inside collapses right before the shot. Not your mechanics, your mind. You flinch, you rush, you freeze, and in Valorant that split second cost everything. People love to say, take your time, you have more time than you think. But let's be real, it really does not work like that. And when the pressure hits, your body doesn't feel like it has time. You're not calmly counting seconds, you're just trying not to mess up. Why? Because your nervous system is in survival mode. This video isn't about some new settings. It's about building that one skill that lets all your practice finally show. Staying calm under pressure. Why is it beneficial to stay calm? Before we learn the solutions, we need to fully understand the problem. Why is tilting or becoming compulsive so incredibly destructive to your performance? Let's dissect what's happening in your brain and your body when tilt takes over. First, your decision making collapses. When you get angry, your body is flooded with stress hormones, like cortisol and adrenaline. It effectively blocks your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, strategy, and complex thought. And the result? You just start to do some bullshit, just to prove to yourself or maybe teammates something. Impulsively push through smokes without info, you repick an angle you know is being held by operator, and you waste your ultimate out of pure frustration. And the second, your mechanics break down. Stress or anger create undeniable physical tension. Your grip on the mouse tightens, your shoulders stands up, and your arms movement becomes jerky instead of smooth. This makes your micro adjustments inaccurate, and your spray control almost impossible. You're physically fighting your own body, and your aim suffers directly because of it. A calm player is a precise player because they are relaxed. And I notice it by myself. When I'm nervous, I just start to panic crouch spray, regardless of best option. Third, when you stay calm, communication with team becomes much better and more useful. Of course, when you're tilted, you stop communicating efficiently. But to be honest, if it helps you, don't communicate at all. One frustrated comment can infect the entire team's morale. Instead of providing useful information, for example, like one enemy in B main, you might say something passive-aggressive like, wow, nobody was watching flank again? This might put your teammates on the defensive mode. And as we all know, in the Valorant, community is very sensitive. Some guy might just start strolling because one offensive comment about him. Benefits of staying calm are very obvious. When you're calm, you maintain access to your logical brain, allowing you for smarter decisions. Your body stays relaxed, leading to sharper mechanics. And as you become more positive, you just genuinely have more fun, which allows you to have much better time. And that's what's matter, right? So how do we build calmness? There are 4 distinct pillars that work together as a complete system to carry our calmness. But before going to dive deep into each one, I want you to realize that you need to change your mindset to play for the improvement, not for the win. I know that it's really hard. It might take some time, some rages, some failure, but the easiest decision will be to give up. And if you truly want to get better, you should stick to it. Pillar 1. Master your circle of control. Our first pillar is a simple but powerful mental model. Now imagine 2 circles, one inside the other. The large, outer circle is your circle of concern. It contains everything in the match that you cannot control. Your teammates' mistakes, server lag, the lucky shot from an enemy. But on the other hand, the small one, inner circle, is your circle of control. It contains the few things that you have 100% direct control over. Your crosshair placement, your communication, your movement, your positioning, and your decisions. Almost all of your frustration comes from mentally living in outer circle. You feel powerless, and that leads to rage. And the key to stay calm is to consciously force your focus back to your inner circle. Let's think about a common frustrating moment. You die to a running headshot. It feels random. Of course it's annoying and frustrating. But the tilting and disappointing feeling comes from focusing on the outer circle. And the productive path is to acknowledge the lack, but then immediately scan for anything that was in your inner circle. You might realize my positioning was actually terrible. I was standing in a very common, predictable angle, so this leads to a useful thought, like, next time I'll try playing from a slightly more unexpected position. Now you're focusing on what can you improve, not what you can't control. And the pillar 2, focus on the process, not the outcome. Our second pillar is a fundamental shift in how you define success in Valorant, and it might be the most powerful concept in all of performance psychology. Most players judge themselves entirely by the outcome, and the problem is the outcome is incredibly fragile. It depends on 9 other players, on random timing, on server performance, on another enemy having a live game. When your confidence and your mood are tied to something so uncontrollable, you're setting yourself up for an emotional roller coaster. A win makes you feel like a god, while loss makes you feel worthless. This constant up and down is the fastest way to burn out and tilt. The process is a sum of every single action, decision, and habit that you and only you have 100% control over, from moment to moment. Let's get specific. Your process isn't one thing. It's a collection of high-quality habits you can practice in every single round. For example, your mechanical process, your strategic process, your communicative process, and your mental process. Think, for example, of a professional basketball player stepping up for the free throw line. He can't control if his teammates are having an off night and missing their shots. He can't control the roar of a hostile away game crowd trying to get in his head. Neither he can control a referee's bad calls. But what he can control is his process with absolute precision. His stance, his breathing, his grip of the ball, the flick of his wrist, his follow-through. He obsesses over perfecting his process, because he knows that if the process is perfect, on the distance over 100 of shots, the results will take care of themselves. And your gameplay is no different. Now let's take a look at the third pillar. Alright, our first 2 pillars give us a new mindset and a new goal. But what happens in that split seconds after you die? That moment when you get one tap from angle you weren't expecting. In that instant, your brain gets flooded with emotions. Before you even have a chance to think about your circle of control or focusing on process, your mind starts a negative thought spiral. Like, this game is trash, I can't do anything right, I let down team again. This is where our third pillar comes in. It is not a mindset, it is a practical physical tool. Mental emergency brake that you will use to stop that thought spiral before it even begins. And let's call it anchor point. Let's first understand why this works. Your brain has limited attention. It cannot be fully focused on 2 things at once. The goal of the anchor is to deliberately occupy your brain's attention with something neutral, starving the anger of the focus it needs to grow. So what is an anchor? It's a pre-chosen sensation that you will focus on. Let's break down on the different types you can use. Type 1. The visual anchor. This is the most common one. Your anchor could be your own crosshair, but don't just glance at it. Really look at it. The moment you die, force your mind to go through a checklist. What is its exact color? Is it green? Is it cyan? Notice the individual pixels that make it up. Observe the gap in the center. Mentally trace the shape of the lines. By forcing yourself through this detailed observation, you're giving your brain a complex task that has zero emotional content, effectively shutting down the negative spiral. And the second type, the physical anchor. This can be even more powerful, because it connects your mind directly to your body. Choose one point of physical contact, for example your hand on the mouse. After a die, shift your entire focus there. Feel the subtle texture of the plastic under your palm. Notice the exact pressure your index finger is putting on the left mouse button. This can ground you in physical reality and pulls you out of the angry thoughts in your head. And now for the most important part, how to implement this. You need to choose your anchor before you play. You must decide on your anchor when you are calm. Will it be your crosshair, your hand on the mouse? Pick one and commit to it using your entire gaming session. Step 2. Identify the trigger. A trigger is that initial flash of frustration, right after you die. The moment you feel that hit in your chest or that urge to slam your desk, that is a signal to activate your anchor. Step 3. The action. For the next 5 to 10 seconds, focus on your chosen answer with 100% of your mental energy. Don't do it passively. Actively observe and analyze the sensation. And the result, after those 5-10 seconds, you won't feel magically happy. And that's not the goal. The goal is to break the circle of judgment. That storm of anger will pass, your mind will be clearer, and now you'll have the mental space to think. The answer is only the tool that clears the way for your improvement mindset to actually work. And the fourth pillar, the win the next 10 seconds method. Our final pillar is a tool for dealing with overwhelming pressure, especially when the scoreboard looks bad. This method keeps you focused on your improvement journey, one step at a time. Your mission is no longer to win the game, it is simply to win the next 10 seconds. This means focusing only on your next immediate action. It might be hold this angle with the perfect crochet placement, or take the best position possible. This breaks down an impossible challenge into a series of small, achievable micro-wins. Each time you accomplish one of these 10 seconds goals, you reinforce your process and get a small hit of confidence, pulling you out of worrying about the score. All of these tools are incredibly powerful, but they work best when supported by strong habits. Before the game, don't just warm up your aim, warm up your mind. Spend your last 5 DMs consciously reminding yourself that you're trying to improve and learn, because when you practice it, you'll find it easier in actual games. Treat your health better and you'll become better. This cannot be overstated. Sleep is when your brain learns and recovers. A lack of sleep is like queuing up with 50 packet losses up your brain. Stay hydrated and eat well to keep your energy and mood stable. Also, have the post-game mood check. This is non-negotiable rule for mental health. After a session, especially a bad one, you must take a real break. Stand up, walk away from your desk for at least 5 minutes. Let your brain fully disconnect and reset. Your future self will always be grateful, as you'll start your next session fresh, not carrying the baggage from your previous games. It's a fundamental shift in your relationship with Valorant. You begin to let go of the need for the scoreboard to tell you if you played well. You stop seeking validation from a victory screen that depends on 9 other people. You start playing a different game. A game that happens between your ears. A game where you are always in control, where progress is always possible, and where your own focused effort is the ultimate reward. And the funny thing that happens when you fully commit to this inner game, when you stop chasing wins and start chasing improvement. The wins start to find you. They become the natural, inevitable byproduct of you becoming a stronger, calmer, and more resilient version of yourself. Now go and play to improve.